second. And I don't want you to go delete all your videos. Like, hey, Derral told me to delete my videos.
That's 3 left.
This guy sucks. I don't need any of that on Reddit. The whole purpose of this trip is inspired by something that happened many years ago, and I want to kind of share that story with you. And it's something that I think a lot of you can resonate with. And it all started in YouTube, of all places. You guys, who's been on YouTube since 2005, 2006? We got a few of you here. Very good. Well, I want to tell you where the number 2 biggest YouTube community is in the world. Do you know where number 1 is? Take a guess.
India?
LA, number 1. Okay, number 2, where do you think number 2's at? Utah. Got Utah. Believe it or not, it's in Utah. And I want to share you the story of how that all began, okay? So a really good friend of mine was going to school. He was in a business class, and this guy came that actually was trying to sell a tongue cleaner, and he tried it on infomercials. He's tried it with direct mail. And he was a dentist, and he says, this is like revolutionary, and like people need it. And basically the business class said, well, realistically, 76% of the market's not going to buy it. And they're really shooting him down on it. Well, what happened next is this. There was one student that raises his hand, says, hey, but what about the 4% that would? That could be a huge market share.
Yeah.
You just got to be able to penetrate that market in a unique way. And they decided that they wanted to go after a younger demographic. And he met with this individual afterwards. He says, hey, would really like to do something with you. And he goes, well, let's just there's this new thing called YouTube. Let's go ahead and put an ad together and put this up on YouTube and, let's see what happens. And the guy that had the invention, he says, okay, a little risky, I've tried everything, but what's a few $100s? So they only had a couple $100 budget. So this almost college graduate turned to his roommate and says, hey, he goes, you like shoot video, right? And he goes, yeah, I like to shoot video. That's awesome. He turns to his other roommate and says, you like writing stuff, right? Nice. He goes, yeah. He says, okay, we're gonna make a great team. And so they actually made the first video that went up on YouTube, and it exploded. And not only did that one ad created a brand new company that sold for several $1 million. It was close to $20, $30 million. And it did it in a very short amount of time. It all come from that one video. Now, the person that was the videographer saw the vision of what was happening with YouTube and saw the opportunity. And he turned to a small group of people, there was about 30 of us, and say, we're gonna do a meetup. And we're gonna do it in the basement of this house. So we went to the basement of this house, and we had our first YouTube meetup in Utah. And that was very, many years ago. Does anyone want to take a stab at who the person that was doing the videography was? It wasn't me. I wish I could take credit for that. But guess who that was? Anyone want to take a guess? Wasn't Sean. Has anyone heard of Devin Supertramp?
Yeah.
So that was Devin, and it was in Devin's mom's basement.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. Devin's killing it.
So what was interesting from that, I can tell you right now, in the 30 groups, the 30 people that were there, of the top 10 most viral video ads of all time, 6 of the top 10 was actually people that either wrote or produced or shot that content was in that basement. And then 2, you had some of the biggest YouTube creators, like Devin at that time was actually dating Lindsay Sterling. Oh, nice. You guys were familiar with Lindsay?
Yeah.
I worked with the piano guys. I mean, the list goes on from there. And what happened is we created a culture, and this culture was all about helping each other. So that's why I'm here tonight, is the Creators Helping Creators, is because I feel like a lot of that's being lost right now in the YouTube world, and I wanted to be able to at least do my due diligence to help establish communities where you guys can meet together frequently. And I want to tell you about an experience between 3 individuals that met at a YouTube, we call it YouTubers, UT, like Utah, YouTubers, YouTubers meetup. And I want to tell you about them. So one of them, this guy comes up to me and says, hey, Derral, really love your stuff. I want to be, a YouTuber. I'm really excited about the community. I'm really excited about making videos with my family. Is there anything I can do for you? I'm like, well, sure, and I gave him my cell phone number, whatever, because, that's a part of the community, right? I'm not just saying, hey, I'm up here and you're down there. It's like, no, it's like we're a part of each other's and we're going to help each other. And, and I know that he wasn't going to text me at random hours or anything like that. It's just like when he needed help or if I needed help, we were able to help each other. And so what happened was he's like, hey, I noticed that you're doing a video shoot up in Provo. I'd love to come and just help. So he was actually our PA. So like he was literally running errands. He'd run to the supermarket when we needed something at the supermarket. He'd get stuff. He'd get gaff tape for the gaffers and all that other stuff. But he was on site, just volunteering his time, which was really cool. Now we could have paid him a little bit here or there, which we tried. And he's like, no, man. I just just want to help out, want to learn, and that's where it was. And so for me, I really like that. Number one, because it's like he really wanted to learn and he wasn't expecting anything in return. He just wanted to be surrounded by it. Now, I want to give you some context to that video shoot. We actually had 6 YouTubers that had over 5 million subscribers at that shoot. He got to know all 6 of them.
Yeah.
He got to rub shoulders with all 6 of them.
Sure.
And he got to ask questions all about it. So he went back and he's like, man, this is amazing. So he sent me a Facebook message. He goes, Derral, I really want whatever shoot you have, just volunteer me. I'll be on it. I will literally leave my job just to come. I'm like, we can't do that. He goes, well, I can do that. He goes, I own my own business. I can leave at any time.
Awesome.
And that's what he did. And so he says, what else do you have going on? So in the course of about 4 months, he helped us on 3 different projects. And each time he was asking very specific questions. And what was I going to do? Tell him no on anything? Like he was helping me out. Why couldn't I help him out? And so I kind of put my arm around him. I says, okay, now Steve, I go, there's a couple things if you really want to succeed. Number 1, you got to consume as much information as you can. But number 2, don't be consuming so much information you can't take action. Right. I go, that's really, really critical. And then the next step would be you need to surround yourself by people that actually understand what you're actually going through. And I says you need to select 2 individuals that you can talk with every week, and they can understand where you're at in the process and hold your feet to the fire and help you improve. Now, he goes, man, I don't know what to do. I says, I'll introduce you to 2 other people. It's no big deal. I know that you're a little nervous about that. I says, this person over here, oh no, he's a huge YouTuber. He has 10,000 subscribers. There's just no way he'll even do anything with me. I'm like, Steve, come on, he will. And the other guy, Steve only had 100 subscribers, by the way. And the other guy had 1,000 subscribers. Heaven forbid, he had 1,000 subscribers. So he had 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, and then he had this guy that had 10,000 subscribers. And I said, Steve, like literally just start meeting with him. So they did. They formed a little private Facebook group between all of them, and they're holding each other accountable. They would call each other every week. They would meet in person. They'd help each other on other video shoots. And over the course of 1 year, Steve was able to continue to learn from a lot of people. He'd go out and kind of be a part of the community. He came to the VidSummit, the conference that I put on every year. And in the course of 1 year, guess how many subscribers Steve had?
40.
100,000?
40? 100,000?
200 million.
1.2 million subscribers.
Whoa, in 1 year.
Nice.
In 1 year. Now,
Wow.
context of doing it together as a group, okay?
Right.
Okay, the guy that had 1,000 subscribers, he had 1 million subscribers. The guy that knew his stuff, that he was like, hey, I know everything about YouTube. I got 10,000 subscribers. He was only at 700,000 subscribers. But he was at 700,000 subscribers.
Right.
Who's complaining about that, right? And so at the end of the day, they were all helping each other grow. What's really cool about it is Steve now has 4 channels. All subscribers is about 10 million subscribers total of the 4 channels. He's getting over 180 million video views a month.
Oh my God.
And I'm here to tell you that the other 2 channels are not that far behind. And it's just like you can learn something about it, and you got to get very specific. If you're bringing someone that will just tell you, "Oh, that looks great. Oh, you do amazing," and not being critical with you a little bit and saying, "Hey, you might want to improve here or there," and you're not willing to take that type of analysis, I would look for somebody that's there. So, first part is make sure this group's going. The number two thing would be getting two people that you can connect with that would understand what you're going through. And you never know who you're sitting by. Like seriously, at the end of the day, I've seen channels explode, and you never know who you're sitting by. And I'll pick on my son Bridger that's in the back. Bridger, how you doing? Good. I'll pick on him. Like we went out to dinner, and he's like, I don't even know this YouTuber, whatever. And we go out to dinner, and yeah, who is it?
Mr. Beast.
Now you watch every one of his videos, right?
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, but you never know about who's there, what you're able to do. But that would be like if you're really serious about it, having an accountability partner or partners will help you succeed. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on. Let me give you a little bit about me. I've been on YouTube since 2005. That's when YouTube started. My wife can attest, I'm literally obsessed with YouTube. I actually own a company where we work with some of the top businesses and brands and YouTube creators around the world. I love it because it's so difficult, but it's so rewarding for me in the same sense. Like for me personally, I love strategy, I love figuring things out, and I love sharing. I love to share the knowledge that I get. I don't hold all the information to me. I want to be able to share. I have 41 billion video views on YouTube, which is fun. Got 21 gold play buttons. I got gold play buttons sitting around my office. I really don't hang things up like that. It's just like, that doesn't mean anything for me. It's more about the challenge, right? I got 20 billion video views on Facebook, and hopefully we'll have another 22 billion in the next couple weeks on Facebook. But I really love what I do, and for me, I know that the gold play button is like a status symbol of everything that's going on. I like to this day, it just like it doesn't really mean anything to me. At the end of the day, it's the challenge of the day and getting the reward of what's actually happening. Because there's a lot of people that have a gold play button but don't actually have views happening on their YouTube channel. Okay. Has anybody seen this ad? Okay, so what I love about this ad, there's a couple things about this ad. Number one, so you remember that one roommate that basically told the guy that says, hey, that tongue cleaner, let's go ahead and do it? Well, he and I actually produced this ad together. Wow. So his name's Jeffrey Harmon, one of the most brilliant minds in video marketing, really smart. I was blessed to work with him on this and about 7-8 different projects over the course of my career, and I love it because we I don't know, it's always good to find someone that knows just as much as you do or more, and really pushes you, and so part of him and another person were kind of our accountability partnership. We talk about everything in our businesses, in our lives, in our families. What's interesting about this one, I want to tell you the story, is this. We had a company that was getting about $300,000 worth of sales using their product called the Squatty Potty. They went on Shark Tank. You guys heard of Shark Tank, right? And they got 2 million sales that year, and they basically penetrated the market. They're 65 plus, health conscious, and they were there. But they couldn't get past the 2 million mark. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get past it because they need to go back, relook at their, like, who's buying and who would actually purchase. And the messaging was all wrong, and they had to figure it all right. So they contacted us about hitting the millennial market. And if you can get into the millennial market, and a lot of you making videos, you should be appealing to that group because they are between millennial and Gen Z, they're like the high consumers of the internet. And they're also the quickest to buy. And so they decided to look for options. When we told them about the pooping unicorn, they're like, you want us to do what? Seriously? We're like, yeah. What was interesting was they took it back to the Shark Tank investor, and the Shark Tank investor basically said it was brand suicide to do it. And the CEO I respect him 100% on this because he went back to us and says, I don't know, we're getting some flack, from the board and all that other stuff. And it took about 2 months of him hawing around, but he decided to do it. And like to me, that was like the biggest deal because he had enough faith in us and the concept to do something that cost a lot of money. This commercial right here was over $500,000, wow. So $500,000. And we basically played it, and I'll just show you just a portion of it right there. But the reality is, at the end of the day, it was a very effective ad. Okay, very effective ad. Now you remember it cost about $500,000. Most companies, they're looking for the return on investment. So Jeffrey and I were thinking, hey, if we could get return on investment in a couple months, that would be amazing, And then it's just profit after that. Just in a few hours, they got the return on investment. So
wow.
over $500,000 in sales in a few hours. Man. So we knew it worked. And it worked so well that in that first year, they did $45 million that are attributed to that video. So they went from a $2 million company to a $50 million company, and $45 million of the sales came from that video ad. Okay. I also love education. I put on a conference every year called the VidSummit. If you guys, has anybody been to the VidSummit besides? What was your experience?
It was awesome.
Really awesome. Like there's conferences out there, and it's all about, hey, here's a private party over here, or here's this or whatever. But VidSummit is different because my goal for this, and I want you can let me have it if it's not this way, but I wanted to have it be a place where speakers were approachable. Number one. That they feel a part of it, but also that speakers would go back and sit in the audience to listen to other speakers. Did that work out pretty well?
Every speaker I saw sitting around.
Except for him.
I saw you sitting at him.
Except for him. No, Gary. But it's but that's what it is. And I literally wanted to create that atmosphere because I truly believe in the Creators Helping Creators mentality. And who better not to help you when someone actually succeeds, is able to show you the thing, and it's pretty transparent too. They're not saying, hey, this is my story, it's just this is how I did it, right?
It's all content, yeah.
It's all content. All right, moving on. Okay, so today is a fun thing, and I know I'm going through a lot of my stuff first, but hey, I'm up here, I can do that, right?
Exactly.
Like I said, one thing that I literally am obsessed with is winning. My family can attest to that. I'm very competitive. I was up until 2 a.m. playing checkers with my son just so that he got so tired that I could win him.
Nice.
That's what it was, right, Kelton? That's true. So, but for me, I hate to lose, and I just want to win, and I'm motivated by a lot of things. So, like for me, I want to also disrupt things. So one of the things I want to disrupt is how big film projects and television projects are funded. And so we actually put together a plan to become the #1 most crowdfunded project of all time. And these are very solid communities of people that are diehard cult classics, and we were going to beat these guys, and we did. We're just shy of $11 million.
Wow!
And our teaser is actually online on Facebook right now. We just released it a couple hours ago when I was on an airboat. Seriously, it was. I was trying to do stuff like on the internet. My wife's like, honey, come on, enjoy Florida. Like, I'm trying. But anyway, but what I'm really passionate about this is #1, with crowdfunding projects, you usually get a t-shirt and maybe a thumbs up and maybe a sticker. This one, we had 16,000 people actually invest into the company. We went through the process to get a Series A to be a public company and take a public offering. And so every one of the people that invested are actually owners of the company, and as we succeed, they're able to succeed as well, which is awesome. Algorithms are fun, and the AI is fun, but sometimes as a creator you get frustrated, right? You're kind of like this guy trying to put his luggage in, and it just doesn't fit. You get frustrated with that, and there's a lot of frustration. You can't really see what's going on. You're trying to do it. People are trying to tell you what to do. You know, I can see that there's people that just don't even give them the time of day here too.
I don't care.
But it gets a little frustrating. But what I want to do, my goal for this evening is to help you understand what YouTube really wants and to answer your questions of how to help you make better content. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this is where it's at. And I can tell you it has not changed since 2013. YouTube is very specific about two things. They're very particular about the video, and they're very, 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 very particular about the viewer. Okay, so just before we started, we had a conversation of some channels that we own and different things like that. And for us, it's like, well, you don't put that out publicly. I'm like, yeah, you're right, because I'm really concerned about the viewer. I want to make sure that YouTube knows exactly who my viewer is. Now, here's the key. I'm seriously, here's the key. When you can help YouTube define who the viewer is, YouTube will go find more viewers like them. When you collude it, and it's not necessarily identified who a strong consumer of your videos are, then YouTube's gonna have a hard time recommending it.
Yeah.
I can get literally 97% YouTube recommendation on my channels. Why? It's because YouTube exactly know who the viewer is and will find people out there that are similar to them. Okay, so remember, it's all about the video and the viewer. So if we're breaking this down, we need to look at kind of the specifics of it. There's a lot of people that are really excited about getting your videos ranked. Hey, I got some great ranking here. Can I tell you my thoughts on it? My honest thoughts? And we're being recorded here, so this would be public honest thoughts. But rank is so 2014. Seriously, internet search on YouTube is so 2014. Why? Because it's not even where the traffic's coming from. The traffic's coming from 70% or more are coming from YouTube recommending content for you to watch. Like when you take it at the end of the day. Now, you might say, hey, well come on now. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do want search to trigger some of these things to happen.
Right.
But my titling strategy, my description strategy, my playlist strategies, my content strategies have nothing to do with search. It has everything to do with YouTube recommending my content. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, I've been putting up videos for years and we haven't seen any traction. Why aren't we seeing traction? Well, I can tell you they're probably focusing in the wrong area of a traffic source. And you'll see that there's who had their video just took off. I was just talking with them. It's just got a couple thousand views on it, just barely. Was that you? Yeah. Do you know why that happened?
Well, I noticed my YouTube suggested went up. The percentage went up.
Whoa! So would you mind pulling it up real quick on your phone? Is that cool? Because I'm here to tell you. He's like, hey, I used to get like 60 views, 100 views, and then all of a sudden I got a whole bunch of views, and he was trying to figure out where it was coming from, and when you break it down where it's coming from.
So it shows like it's going up like 66%.
So right now, I gotta check this out. Give me 1 second here. This is actually pretty good here. And this is the cool thing. You get to get a free console here too. This is a fun bag. So here's the thing is, he has other views, other videos that's coming in. That's really good. Okay, so right now, where he got an influx of views, it was coming from two places, two traffic sources. First traffic source was suggested videos. The second traffic source was browse feature. Does anybody know browse feature, what that means?
Like you just click it and then you see
Okay.
all kinds of stuff.
Here's browse feature, and I'm telling you, it is so cool when you figure this out. So for me, it's all about YouTube recommending your content. Well, browse feature is YouTube's very aggressively going after the viewer. Okay, so when YouTube, they'll look in the homepage. The homepage is part of the browse feature. They'll be in a feed of some sort. It's not even the subscription feed. It's just like wherever you see it, it's just going to show up, and it's like that's the browse feature that's there. And so when you're browsing, that's where it shows up. That's where you're able to see some boosts. Sometimes you have a 61% YouTube suggestion, but then you had like a 30% or whatever. That's kind of the wild card. And sometimes I get videos even to this day that have more browse feature than suggested, and I don't care because all I care about is having eyeballs, right?
Exactly.
And so,
Nice.
but if you're putting your strategy on search, you are limiting yourself of what you truly can have, because how you create content for search, and you might have a channel that is conducive to search. This is a great how-to search engine. I mean, heck, my YouTube channel is a how-to thing. But if you're wanting to take it to the next step, it's like, how can you get it recommended so it goes out to more and more people?
Sure.
Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so at the end of the day, don't just focus on search and ranking. What you need to look at is the video and the viewing experience. Okay, you've got to have that in mind when you're making content. Like, what people are going to consume, how they're going to consume it, what video would actually be likely for them to watch on your YouTube channel. Those are things that you should be looking at right now. So when a creator understands the algorithm, sometimes you have this little stewardess come over. It's Derral Eves right here. It says, hey, no. You want to flip this around like this? No, like this. Let me show you. Like, flip it. Like this. Yes. Oh, yes. That works just beautifully right there, right? But that's the whole thing. It's like when it clicks for you, that example I shared with Steve, it just clicked for him. Like, it literally clicked. Oh, I get this now. I get where the priority should be. I get it. And after that, it's just like things just happen. It's just things happen. So, yes.
Question, but the algorithm is triggered by letters or words, right? Not the video in itself.
The algorithm is triggered by everything.
Yeah. Watch time, all kinds of stuff.
Computers can understand
Very much so, yeah.
what the video is about.
They can, yeah. It's a really smart system. We'll go over that if that's okay. And we're going to go in depth of what it actually looks at. So my goal this evening is first off, getting you guys to meet more frequently, having you guys get accountability partners, but then stop blaming YouTube for your content.
Yeah.
Okay?
Make it better.
Because seriously, at the end of the day, if you're making amazing content,
Yeah.
then YouTube would promote it.
Yeah.
And I know that there are false positives. I know that there's certain topics that YouTube will demote. We're not talking that, but in general, we're talking about the things that you want to succeed if you want that growth. So my question to you is: does your content suck?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm from Utah. This is how we talk. My mom says, "Oh, not that word." Seriously, she says that. But anyway, does your content really suck? And that's the question that you're going to be analyzing. So remember, when we're getting two accountability partners, they're going to be looking at your content too, and they're going to be looking at your analytics. And you're going to open it up to them. You're going to make them a channel manager, which is really important, because you want to see, does your content really meet the standards? Now, I can tell you that there are people out here that says, Derral, my content's amazing. I just want you to see it. It's like everybody that watches it engages with it. They have two comments on it and about 40 views. I says, oh, that's great. Let me take a look at it. I can already tell that it's their mom and their family that's watching it, and you're not getting the true feedback, so they don't have as much data as you need. So you're probably wondering, how much data do you need? Well, a lot more than 100 views. Get about 1,000 views, and you're gonna start seeing numbers now on your videos that it's a little bit differently than your other previous videos because you have more people engaging with it.
Yeah.
And about that 1,000 view mark is decent enough for you to make some really decent decisions based off of that data. Okay, so let's talk about content, and we're going to get to live evaluations and questions at the very end. But let's talk about content, what YouTube looks at. So you had the question about, are they just looking at the keywords? Well, let me explain to you where everything starts to trigger, and we're going to get very in depth on it. So the first thing is this YouTube recommendation. Comes through when content is shown on these places: recommended homepage, watch page, viewers seeking your content, like this right here, all this right here. That's when your title and your thumbnail show up. And it's at a glance for at least a second. That's what an impression is, okay? And when they look at it and people go past it, that's not good,
Right.
okay? So posting a lot of videos all at once you could be competing with yourself and cannibalizing your,
Wow.
your content that way.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
And two, when you click on it, that's the number. This is the magical number that YouTube's looking for, is how many people see it and then click on it. That's the first thing they're looking at. Okay. Now with that, they're going to be looking at the title. Believe it or not, they can get in depth on the thumbnail. We'll show this in a second or two. And they're going to get even in the video content because they do closed captioning. They auto caption. They can start seeing what's being said. And there's some really, really cool AI machine learning that YouTube has that really analyzes what's actually happening in it, just outside of the closed caption that's going on. It's actually pretty fascinating. And so it's pulling all this stuff in, but what it's looking for next is this right here,
Duration.
the average view duration. So what YouTube's doing is saying, look, okay, we know that people are like it, they click on it. What happens next?
Are you boring? Or
What
not?
happens next? Okay, that's what we need to talk about. So we're talking about the AI triggers. So the first thing is, if people see it and they move past it, that's bad.
Right.
If they see it, they click on it, that's good.
Right.
Okay, so doing multiple posts in a given day, is that good or bad?
Bad.
That's bad. Can you do more than one post a day? Yes, you can, but you better be strategic on it. You better be strategic. We had a channel that we were doing 3 videos a day, very religiously, morning, afternoon, evening. We were hitting it hard, and we went back to about every other day now. And the reason why is because we were literally robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
And it was one of those things. It's like, hey, we only have so much visibility, and I'd rather have people click on that one video to get that triggered to go.
So wouldn't if they're you said posted multiple like that close to each other, so that would hurt somebody. Like I know you don't see it as much anymore, but like people that do like daily vlogging and stuff like that.
I think daily vlogging can get away with it. I think going daily is about the max, unless you're doing 100%. There's a different type of channel where you're having 20,000 videos or 5,000 videos on a channel that's getting a whole bunch of views across the board. But yeah, daily videos is okay in the sense of vlogging because people expect that daily vlog to come out.
Yeah. Come on.
But in that same sense, to have the full duration of that suggestion, you are cutting into it when you upload another video. And so it's kind of, it's give and take. But I know a lot of people expect things daily. I recommend, like, if you want sanity in your life, going 3 times a week would be like the max that I would do, unless you really have a team to put the content together, because it's crazy.
Yeah. It's a grind.
Just a quick question. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, doing everything all in one day, like you're playing like a game or something like that. You just keep on going, like, because no one's usually gonna watch more than a 15-minute video if you're talking about a specific type of content, because the time length, usually, unless you're a really entertaining person, is gonna be done like the 4 or 5 minutes out of a 15-minute video. But long story short, is it better to schedule yourself out, make your stuff like in 1 or 2 days, and then edit, and then to schedule it out throughout the week, possibly?
So I was asking about if you have a longer form video, how do you break it down? What do you do from there? For me, I would always look at your audience. There are people that watch 4 or 5 hours worth of content, and they'll watch it from beginning to end.
Thunderstorm
That's
videos.
it. That's
yeah,
like TV.
there's channels I watch where they consistently post 20, 30-minute
Yeah.
videos.
So you got to understand who your viewer is, and then once you understand the viewer, it's like, can you engage with them enough that they'll want to take kind of ownership of what they do next, is watching another video of yours, and really triggering that. But the triggers is like the big thing, and that's what we're looking at. So the first trigger is what we call CTR, that click-through rate. The next trigger, going off of this one first, is this one right here. Is it boosts discovery. So the higher this number is, the more likelihood that you have to boost discovery. And what is discovery? Is it search? Shake your head no. It's browse feature, suggested videos, other would be in that category. But this right here is to boost discovery. So YouTube has a search and discovery department, and they break it into 2 groups. There's 2 different types of algorithms for it. And if you want to get really complicated, there's a third, which is live, which I don't even want to get into that right now. But it's just like, at the end of the day, search and discovery, how things are found on YouTube, and they're very particular about that. Okay. So let's talk about high CTR but low view count. So there might be a few of you that look at your video performance funnel and you have like amazing click-through rate, but your views are low. Does anybody have that? Okay, a few people. Let me tell you what that is. You don't have enough data. You don't have enough data. So is that a high CTR on, 1,000 views, 10,000 views? It could affect, because if it's just off of 5 views or 20 views, that could just be your mom watching your videos. And she's gonna click on it every time she sees, oh, I like Daryl's videos. That's how I got my first views on YouTube.
Right. We all do.
It took my wife, what were your subscriber? She says 12,000, but it was 30, but but she doesn't go on YouTube. Anyway, I consume enough YouTube for all of us. But anyway, so that's kind of where it's at. It's like you have to have a higher number, and you're probably will say, well, how do I get that higher number? And I want to show you how to do that tonight. I want to show you that it's all about knowing how your video will perform and working with a team, which you have your accountability partners to really figure things out, okay? So the first thing is you want to make your thumbnails clickable. What this means is that clickbait is not the term that we're using, but a clickable title is. You want to make it so engaging that people want to click on it, okay? Now, by doing that, there's some weight, and there's some expectations that can come back and bite you in the butt if you don't take care of it, okay? So whatever your title may be, whatever your thumbnail may be, you got to make sure that you hold that in high regard, because you have to deliver on that, okay? Does anybody know this guy?
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
So,
Mr. Beast.
I can tell you, Johnny, like seriously, at the end of the day, that Mr. Beast, at the end of the day, spends hours on his title and thumbnails. And I know, because I can tell you that he's one of my accountability partners, and we meet every week. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's like the content that he makes is so amazing. But do you know what he thinks about first? What is his title? What is his thumbnail? And then he figures out what content's going to work.
They never click on it, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so true. So please spend about 3x more time on your titles, but do it on the researching side. I think when I go and go through this, I look at some of your titles, and I'm not using Orlando specifically, but around the world, and I found that some of you guys don't know what you're doing, and that's why you're here. That's great. But the other thing is you're making some guesses off of pretty bad data. And what I would like you to do is spend time researching. I'm doing a presentation. I got hired by PBS Digital, and I got to go up to DC tomorrow. Why my family goes to Disneyland. I think I'm the winner out of that one. I don't have to stand in line. But as I was going through the data, it was really interesting that they were using titles that weren't really relevant for suggestion. And it wasn't really relevant to click. They had a ton of views. They had 1 million views. But I was estimating off of their traffic sources, they would have got 4 to 5x more views if they would have just changed their title. Not their thumbnail, just their title. One of the things I like to look at is what's people naturally looking for. Why are they looking for that? And I get really specific of human behavior and how people think. And you might say, well, that goes back to search. I says, no, it's like, what are people curious about? And that search is, but can we make a thumbnail and a title be that curious that somebody sees it? Oh, I want to see that. And the video I was thinking is, the one that I was thinking about is they're talking about, is height, your height genetic? Are you meant to be small or whatever? And they're getting a lot, very in depth on it. But their title had nothing to do with that. It was like when you look at it, you're like, okay, this is great piece. But in their thumbnail, they actually had it. And it was like, okay, it's clickable, but in the same sense, is it disconnected? And so part of it is knowing where to put your title, because the keywords that were used in the thumbnail that can't get you recommended were not used in the title, which can get you recommended. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you have to know where that's at. So spend a little bit more time. Now, who wants to know where to spend your time doing the research? Okay, so I already got you that. That's called VidSummit. I'm going to get you a pass for that. You want to go to Tom Martin's talk. It's an hour long, and he'll go really in depth. He's going to give you more about keywords than you ever wanted to know. There's only a couple things that I don't necessarily agree with him on, but like 99%, well, I guess 98% is a couple things, right? That are, it's just solid content. So you guys will have that, okay?
Derral,
Yeah.
does it help, hurt, or do nothing if you, after posted a video, you update or research after?
Okay, so the question was, does it help, hurt, or do nothing if you mess with your meta information, your title, your thumbnail, your description after you post, right? So here's a good rule of thumb. If it's performing, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
If you're getting views, don't mess with it, right? However, let's just say that maybe it's okay, then yeah, absolutely. It's going to basically do a reevaluation. It can be done in minutes, and it can either hurt you really bad or it can help you. It just depends, is it a better title? I've done it very religiously in the sense of, okay, is performing above average? Do I want to mess with it? Absolutely not. Maybe after 7 days, I start playing with the thumbnail, because YouTube's now what they call evergreen, an evergreen library where people are getting a lot of promotions. Like I get video views that are, 4 years old, and I still get a ton of views on them just because YouTube finds the right person to watch it. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of similar to that, but does it make sense? Like, if you have, say, you have videos that you didn't do that well, could it help or either hurt you to go back, redo like the metadata, maybe change the thumbnail, and will that bring maybe that back to the front? Like people might see that?
That's a great question. Did everybody hear him on that one? Okay, so he's asking, what if you had older content? Was it good to go back and change the title and the thumbnail and the description on older content? And I would say yes, do that, but only to your good videos. Don't waste your time on the ones that don't perform.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why is because it doesn't matter how much you polish a turd, YouTube's never going to promote that thing,
Yeah.
ever. So you got to know what those indicators that you're looking for.
On those videos that say they're like a year or two old and they're not performing at all, is it better just to get rid of them, or do you want to keep them on your channel?
Great question. The question that it depends on what your niche is. Like if those videos aren't relevant to the type of content you're putting out now, I would be more apt to delete them, even if they had millions of video views, because they're not relevant to the content you're putting out right now.
Could you just unlist them though, instead of just deleting them?
I personally delete. I literally delete.
Yeah.
I've deleted billions of video views, and I just, like, for me at the end of the day, it's like if YouTube, I want you to think about this for 1 second, and I don't want you to go delete all your videos. 'Cause like, hey, Derral told me to delete my videos.
3 left.
Like, this guy sucks. I don't need any of that on Reddit. Okay? But what I'm saying here now is this. It's like, where are you going right now? What type of videos are you producing? Now, here's the cool thing. If you produce a good quality piece of video and YouTube wants to recommend that to other videos, what's the first place it's going to recommend you that to the viewer? It's to other videos that you have in your library. So it's going to recommend to your own content, your own library first. And so if you're not getting views from it, I would look at it, is it your titling is bad? Am I not getting good average view duration? Where's it at? And if it's not, you can make it private. Private's the same as deleting, but I like to delete it because once you hit it private, it's off of YouTube's, like, it doesn't even register in analytics anymore. It zeroes everything out. So does that make sense? Okay. All right, so make thumbnails safe. Okay, so the next thing is thumbnails. I'm here to tell you, we just spent, got up at 6, did some work. So from 8 o'clock, we were running tests on a thumbnail until about 1 in the afternoon. And all was trying to do that, we had 2 people on it. We were doing some variation testing, and we wanted to see which thumbnail was the winner. That was a very, very big deal for us. Why? because from that test is we had 5 versions that we were testing. The first version, if we would have used that, and that's what a lot of people liked, it would have been 80% less clicked on than the last one that we actually tested. Okay, you're probably wondering how we did the test, right? We used Facebook on that. We bought ads on it. Let me see if I can. It's a picture of Mary getting healed by Jesus, and we had like 5 different variations of it. How's our video doing? It's not too bad. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that it meets a few things of criteria. The first thing is, I was talking to, what was your name? You did the cooking, I'm sorry.
Chef Jelly.
Okay, Chef Jelly. Okay, so they were talking about, you know, do we just take pictures of the food, or do we take pictures of the person in the food? What do we do? And it really depends on the channel. There's certain channels it's only food because it's like really recipe driven. But if your personality, definitely put the personality in it. If it's more of a personality type
So
of
you,
channel.
my question I was going to ask is that you want to have your face in the video thumbnail at all times. Does that really help, or is it still
So the
image
question
okay?
is, does anybody watch Cake Boss besides my wife?
Buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's Cake Boss?
Buddy Glass.
So yeah, Buddy, all right. Is he in his is he in the artwork that goes with Cake Boss? Absolutely is. And when it's their personality through that, that's what you gotta definitely connect. And that's where I would say yes. And when you do that, you want to use the face, the eyes, as much as you can. People connect through the eyes, but there are things that we need to look at. So doing this, and some of you might have seen this before, especially if you've seen VidSummit or any of my videos, but there's a tool called Cloud Vision. What Cloud Vision is YouTube uses an AI, and basically that AI is Google, that it basically interprets all the stuff that YouTube needs to do. So it basically is it's an AI that controls algorithms, but it also controls bots at the same time to do what YouTube that we get today. That's what YouTube is. And so when that happens, part of it is using Google Brain, which is the brain of the AI, and part of that is using Cloud Vision. So you're asking about thumbnails specifically. You know, if they don't get, what can they see? Well, let me show you what YouTube can see. Let's take this picture, for example. Close your eyes, boys. Okay, so right here, this is what it's looking at right now.
Serious?
They can see that it's joy, sorrow, anger, and it rates it right there, and it gives it a confidence rating.
There goes the
way.
monetization.
Okay,
Confident.
so that right there. But what's interesting is this right here, the safe search. So a lot of you are getting demonetized because of your thumbnails, and you don't even know it. But also, YouTube goes across, and I only clicked 2 on this presentation. There's like 5 tabs. You can hit over there, and you can see everywhere that this image is being used. You can see everywhere that anyone that took one of your videos puts it out there. YouTube will go and gather all that information, and that's what YouTube has at its arsenal. Okay, and this is all upon upload of your thumbnail. Like it literally will go and check this. It goes through this process. Okay. Then it also rates it too. Is it an adult? Is it a spoof? Medical, violence, racy? You know, it is racy right here. And I can guarantee you that this thumbnail would not pass monetization. Doesn't matter what the content is.
Really wow.
Why? Because your content is your title, your thumbnail, your video, your description.
Sure.
Question in the back?
Are these metrics accessible so far?
Yes. Just type in Cloud Vision on Google. It'll say, ask for a free trial. Don't click on that unless you want to do it into an API, which is really cool. I got in an API. But you just scroll down a little bit, and you can drop your image right into it. You can just throw an image in there. And you can use it unlimitedly. All you have to do is prove that you're not a robot.
Oh, I got you.
I thought when I looked at it, you had paid.
So, but this right here, like I can tell you, right when, like I could show you on my, like this is part of the whole process that we go through. It's not something that,
Interesting.
in fact, I could probably just pull it right here.
So Derral, while you're pulling that up, you mentioned that it searches for your
See,
video.
like right here, this is a thumbnail we're using, and I wanted to see what it was saying on it before we'd even use it. This is exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I don't just put a thumbnail up because I'm okay with it. I have to put it through a test. You know, and then once you have that test, then you say, okay, it passes it. Now, can it change? Absolutely, it can change. But at least I know for a surety it's okay. You know, we can move on. Now, what was your question?
You had mentioned that it looks for that image across the internet.
Right.
So I'm a photographer, so I'll take a lot of pictures and I upload those images. Does that hurt me in any way?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant like if it sees your images out here on the
Yeah, I mean,
forum
there's
or
ways
whatever.
that it can get real tricky. I don't want to talk about it publicly, but
Yeah.
it can get
Okay.
really tricky. But
Okay.
I would just say, just go through to see where it's at.
All right, cool.
Does that make sense,
Yeah.
everyone?
It's interesting.
All right, so let's talk about the average view duration. This is actually my favorite subject. This year I'll have a book come out. Does anyone want to take a guess what the book title is? It's not average view duration, it's close though.
AVD?
The title is Your Video Sucks
Nice. Yeah.
by Derral Eves.
Yeah, I like
That
that.
sounds like a Gary Vee title.
I can't wait to sign copies of that. Your video sucks. That's all awesome. So it'll be out sometime October, hopefully, before VidSummit. But average view duration is going to tell you if your video sucks or not. Okay? At the end of the day, this is the tolerance level that people have in watching your content. Okay? And this is really, really important. We were having a kind of conversation of a sub for sub or view for view. Like, at the end of the day, there's no way you can pay me to have people watch my content unless they're interested in it. Why wouldn't I want that?
I'm only gonna watch 10 seconds.
They're going to only watch 10 seconds of it. Maybe 20. They might even say, do you know what, Daryl's a nice guy. We're going to watch 30 seconds. But then they're going to be disconnected, right? And then what's going to happen? That reflects pretty badly upon that piece of content. Especially if I got 100 people to do that and they only did it for 30 seconds. You just shot yourself in the foot. We don't want to do that. So what we want to do is make sure that when people are watching it, they're going to watch the whole thing. Now, I'm not opposed for people that are doing it. However, I am opposed for people that are not interested in the content, just trying to give you feedback, because they're not the ones that you want feedback from. You want feedback from the people that will be watching your content. I want to give you an example. We just barely, we're about ready to launch a channel. We've been working on this channel since June. And I've done 13 different tests. And we have market research. It's a kids channel. But we have market research with kids to see how they react. I'm actually recording kids as they're watching the content so I can see if my timing's on. Because it's all about the pacing of it, and kids are so hard. Like, seriously, they're so hard to get them to want to watch the whole thing, especially the age group I'm going after right now. And I want to see what they actually do. And so we've done that 13 times, and it's still not done yet. Like, we probably have another 2 months worth of work ahead of us. Now, why am I doing it? Is because the science behind this is if I can get and predict that people are going to watch it, and they're going to watch the whole thing and want to watch another video, that's YouTube gold right there.
Right.
Like, seriously, we could earn our own money after that. Okay, so who's seen this before? Hockey stick effect?
Yeah.
Does anybody know what that is? What's going on here?
Well, like your watchers are seeing it, but then
Something
anybody
that's
else?
trending fad or something maybe?
Or is
Dropping off
this
at the
your
beginning? We have 100% of people here, and they drop off very
Your
quickly.
intro. Too long.
Could be a long intro. Do you want to know 9 times out of 10 what the problem is? It's this.
Right, gotcha. That makes sense.
Okay, you're not delivering on your promise of your title and your thumbnail. That's usually what that means. When someone clicks on it and says, well, this is not what I was looking for. Well, why in the freak did they click on it? Because they were looking for something and you didn't deliver in that amount of time. So what do? They dropped off. Now, I literally have people says, well, Derral, it's in the video. I'm like, yeah, but it's at 8 minutes into it. They're not going to stick around for 8 minutes to get there. So what would you do? How would you fix this then?
I tell them up front. What the video's about?
Tell them up quicker. Tell them what up front what the video's about. What else would you do? Little preview, teaser. Absolutely. And just showing that moment. That can be really, really powerful. So that right here, this is bad. Let's stay away from this. Like, let's avoid it like the plague. But if you have this happening consistently to your videos, I look at two things. Number one, do you have enough views on it? Like, don't make the call just because you have 10 views and it looks like this. After, a couple hundred, then if it still looks like this, then you probably have a problem because YouTube probably won't promote it.
What about spikes?
We are going to get to Spike. We like spikes. Spikes are good.
Is it like on mine? I don't get a hockey stick, but I get kind of like a gradual. Is that more natural when it's just a gradual?
The gradual, yeah, we're going to go through a lot of those. This is not a gradual. This is like a drop off, right?
That's so sad, baby.
But let's go ahead and move on. So the first thing is you want to deliver on the promise. So when you're making your content, before you make content, this is what I would do. I would spin, what is my video going to be about? Okay, before you pick up the camera, I don't care if you're a daily vlogger. What is your video about? What's your title going to be? What's your thumbnail going to be? And then, how are you going to hook them in? What should your hook be? But this is actually a question I'm asking you. Title, thumbnail, what's your video about, and what's your hook? What should be your hook?
Really?
The most exciting.
Related to the title and thumbnail. Whatever your hook is needs to relate to whatever you're advertising. It's like, for me, it's like going into a pizza place. It says, hey, pizza, there's a big old sign at the top, there's pizza on the door, and I go in and they only have Subways. Like, why? Why would you even do that to me? I'm going to leave really fast because I would rather have pizza than a Subway. But you see what I'm saying? So you gotta hit what you're advertising, and you gotta hit it quick. And so at the end of the day, that's what you should be thinking about as you're making your content. So think of your video idea, title, thumbnail, and then your hook. And the hook should be related to your title and thumbnail. Now, once you do that, this is what can happen. And I want to talk about a couple rules that I have. Is that a pretty big dip? And why isn't there 100 right there? Why does it say 120? So it's a little bit higher than 100. Okay? And my question to you is, what's going on here? Let's talk about this for a second. Is that a huge drop? I mean, we're almost 80% right here. What's this?
No spike
So
or
we'll
peak.
back to watch a section of it.
So you're saying they're
Somebody
rewinding
said-
that?
Yeah, go back to section.
That is a huge possibility that they're rewinding that right there. Okay. Does anyone else take a stab?
They think your intro's moving on, start skipping forward.
They start skipping forward, so that's another way. Am I going to go? Is it Darrell's so long-winded again? We have to listen to his intros. Let's figure out when he's going to give the information. Do people do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a third option. Does anybody know the third option?
Commercial break?
Commercial break. They're right here. Commercial break. That could be a possibility, depending on where you're.
On
Well,
a
no,
3-minute
it's only
video?
3 minutes 30
Yeah.
seconds. If
That'd
it's
be
10
rough.
minutes, maybe.
Is it like when they stop the video and they go back to it? A lot of times I'll watch it and then I'm like, all right, I gotta just do something real quick and I'll like end it. But I'll go back to watch
But YouTube knows where you left off, right?
Oh yeah, and it goes,
So it's not going back. It just stops where you left off.
got it.
Okay, there's two things that's happening. Number one, has anybody heard of a timestamp?
Yeah.
That could be a timestamp right there.
So where you
Also,
jump straight to it.
Also, this is how interesting the AI is getting. Is YouTube's actually seeing where your content actually starts, and when someone finds it in Google for a search, it actually starts at this moment of when the content is. It will literally bypass everything and get right to the moment.
Really?
And this has been happening about 2 years right now.
Wow.
And so in this case, it was a really funny moment that people had to rewind because they were laughing so hard. And so that was kind of one of those things. And then it kind of went again, little dip right there. And then we had this little drop off right here. And still, we're way above the threshold that I'm looking for, right? It's a pretty decent video. Then it kicks right back up because it's a really, really funny moment and go from there. So those are right here. Somebody was asking about, hey, What about comments and thumbs ups and thumbs downs? Is that the type of engagement YouTube looks for? No. This is the type of engagement that YouTube looks for right here, right here. That's what it's looking at. It's knowing about the video, what's happening on the video, and what the viewer does during the video, and what the viewer does after the video. Is this making sense? Okay. Okay, I created this rule, and this is not a YouTube rule of thumb. I'll bet you if engineers saw this, they're like, Derral, he's up in the night again. But I kind of have this rule, and I want to tell you why. I created this 50% rule because it's a good gauge for me if my content's good or not. I want to know when 50% of the people leave the video and where they leave. And so it's really, really important for me to understand when the majority of the people left the video, and there's a problem, okay? Right here, it is a problem. At 2 minutes, 42 seconds, we don't finish the video until 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Is this a huge problem?
So that's just in your video. You're
That's
wrapping up, maybe?
a very long outro,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh, you're just wrapping
Very,
it up
very
for too
long. Did this hurt me?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
100% it hurt me.
Hmm.
And why? Because we had an integrated brand deal that we had to do a long outro on.
And they're like, skip, done.
Yeah, and people are, oh, okay, we're checking out, right? Instead of saying, hey, hope you love that video, here's another one. Go watch that. How quick is that? I mean, you can do that in 10 seconds, right? So that 50% rule is we want to know how long people are watching the content. So if you can get 50% of them to watch the end of the video, you're going to probably be closer to a 60% average view duration. Okay, getting the 60% average view duration is pretty decent. We'll talk about that in a second.
How long should an outro be? Just
It just depends on the channel and the video. I like to have them as quick as possible now. There's some people that don't even do them anymore. They just end the video. They're just done. It's gone.
I was wondering.
And I think they're smart in doing that. But if we're trying to help people to do something, to watch another video, it's kind of hard to do it if you don't tell them what to watch, right?
What about the little
The end card.
End
yes, end cards? Just put that for part 2 or whatever.
Yeah. End screen elements, what I normally do is push to one video. I won't even say subscribe anymore because YouTube doesn't really care about subscribers. Sorry.
It's
What
just
about the
YouTube,
likes and
huh?
They
dislikes?
don't.
Did the dislikes ever hurt your channel?
What's that?
Did the dislikes ever hurt your channel?
No.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Go watch the last YouTube rewind video.
Yeah. They got killed, man.
Hey, come on.
That's funny.
But anyway,
Yeah, true.
How many seconds towards the end do you recommend putting your end card? Like you have.
I like to do 10 seconds.
10?
I think if you do it for 10 seconds, as soon as your content's done,
I got a lot of
just say,
10s.
hey, go watch this video. Thanks, guys. Ooh, be
Wow.
done.
Okay.
Be done. Because I can tell you
Yeah.
that even
killing it.
this, being at 440 and at 518 definitely hurts because, look,
Yeah.
we're still a decent video. We even have this little bump, and then it ends,
Boom.
and then it drops off. What if we could get it up a few more percentage points? Like, that could be the biggest difference in the world, is making sure your content's good and it's consumed.
So then, do you not want to put cards?
I put
video?
I put cards on it.
But you're gonna lose.
10
potential
seconds.
Lose that viewer.
Not the full plot.
Yeah. Well, where I place the cards is different than I did 2 years ago.
So you place it more.
Basically at the end. That's what I'm doing.
So like the last 10 seconds.
It's
cards
the
for
end
video.
end screen elements. End screen elements convert higher than cards do. So I would do an end screen element, and then maybe 10 seconds before the end of your video. You just have to see, where that's at. I mean, every channel's different, every video's different, but you're gonna have trends in your own channel, and you got to see what your trends of your viewers are, and that will help you.
Did
kind
you
of
said
decide.
don't bother putting like the subscribe thing element in there?
You could put it in there. I just wouldn't say subscribe.
Oh.
So, just because it's already natural, YouTube's been around since 2005,
Yeah.
so they already know about subscribe. But at the end of the day, YouTube is not gonna.
They just
Look
wanna
at your
see
traffic
people watching.
sources.
Yeah.
Your traffic sources, people are not being notified, and subscribers are not viewing your content. And it's not going to change. I can tell you that, Randy.
So to sum up, you're saying subscriptions, comments, and likes
subscriptions, likes, and comments are not worthless if you're building a community. But from the AI's perspective, it doesn't mean anything.
I was thinking the comments triggered it because they were engaging with it, and
The type of engagement,
Okay.
it's better for them to come back and watch it again.
yeah.
Okay, to give you an example, I have an example at the end of this one where and I'll give the story. Let me just jump forward to it real quick. Oh, maybe I don't have one. Let me just pull it up here real quick, and I can find it real quick. So this is an example. This is a real example because I had no idea who this guy was. So where's Bridger at?
Big Doss TV.
Okay, so the odds went out. So I was watching Rewind, you know, that very popular Rewind that everybody disliked it.
Terrible.
And I saw this cartoon. I'm like, man, I don't even know, because I try to pride myself to know who is actually in the Rewind, because that helps me know where YouTube's at and so on. And I had no idea who this said. And then what did you say, Bridger? It's like, you don't watch this guy? He's like he's like 10 million subscribers. You don't even see this guy. And he is really funny. So what did you tell me to go watch? Well, you told me to watch a specific video.
Oh yeah, Suabway.
The Suabway one. And so I went and watched one video of this guy. It was so hilarious. I was literally crying that I was laughing so hard. And then he had a part 2 and a part 3.
Watched it all.
So what did I do?
Watched it.
I watched part 2 and part 3. Did I watch part 4? No, because they didn't have a part 4. And I had other things to do because he has longer videos. They're like 10 minutes a piece, right? I gotta go make some money. And so I went away, but every time I went to blasted YouTube, what did I see? This is literally a screenshot of my phone. I saw it, and I can literally pull up my phone right now, and you're gonna see that. What happened to the next day? What was the first thing that I did when I went to YouTube? I watched one of his videos. I clicked on it. That's dangerous. That is dangerous, because you know what I just told YouTube? I just consumed 3 videos of this person, and now I just watched another one, and I watched it through the very end. So what is YouTube going to do for the rest of my
They're going to promote
life
those videos to you
until I stop watching this? It's going to promote it to me, right?
That's true. I've seen it on mine.
And so my big thing is this. Like seriously, at the end of the day, I was able to meet the creator in London, by the way. It was really cool. But at the end of the day, it's all about knowing what people are going to do and how they're going to consume the content. So if your content isn't performing, then you're going to have problems. Okay? You're going to have huge problems. And let me go through a couple things real quick, since we're on this deck now. Before we make videos, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to think of the topic, right? Mm-hmm. Then what's next?
Description.
Title, thumbnail, think of the hook, right? And the hook should relate to the title and thumbnail. The next thing I think about is what video is going to be corresponding with this other video. Okay? If it was me, and if I was sitting where you're at today, I would do things in a series. That means multiple videos on a topic. So if Odd Ones Out only had one Subway video, that's probably the only video I would have watched. But knowing it was recommended next, the next up was his Subway Part 2, and then I watched that, and there's a Subway Part 3. What am I gonna do? I'm naturally gonna watch, I like that video, so I'm naturally gonna watch more videos. Okay? And at the end of the day, it's really, really important that you don't waste time on telling people where to go next and how to engage with your content.
Just let the algorithm do it.
Let the algorithm take care of it. Because if you can get them to watch a couple of videos, then they're gonna engage with your content a little bit differently. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So verbal CTA is more powerful than an end screen. Like, I don't know if you guys have this really nice static end screen where there's a good position for your end screen elements. I don't know if you guys do that. Stop doing that. Like seriously, I've tested it, and it's just better to get on and just tell them what to do verbally and point where they need to do.
No more end.
Well, do the end screens, but just do the elements. but don't have like an
graphic.
overlay.
Like I've got a graphic at the end
Like
of
a
all of
graphic.
mine, and
Wait, so how
fits
does the video
here.
going still?
You would just basically have, you're talking in it, just saying, hey, this is what I want you to do. Just click on this one. If you like this video's for you. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this for a second on what I do next. There's two types of end screen elements that I'm passionate about. Number one is a playlist.
Got those.
I would do a playlist every time. Now, some of you might be doing your playlist wrong. You might put a playlist up there instead of a video in a playlist. So I actually do a video in the playlist. I select the playlist, I click on the video, then I go up to the top where the address is, I copy that whole thing, and then I paste that in as a video, not a playlist. So when they click on it, it goes right to the video in the playlist. It doesn't go to the playlist itself.
Oh, I see.
All right,
Does that make sense?
Because I always go to then and I add a playlist, but it says, what do you want to do, a video or a playlist? I click on that, find the playlist.
You want to put a video in the playlist, and that's how you go from there.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to know a really, really cool hack? Does anybody do kids channel type of content? Okay, let me teach you a really big hack. You guys want to know a big hack? Is this. If you can get them redirected, a child redirected out of the app, because it's going to go into the browser. Like as soon as you do a playlist, it doesn't go into the app. It'll leave the app, go into the browser. You start a session watch time, and then you just trap them in a playlist, and they'll watch. And the only thing they see up there is your content. Sorry, they can watch other things if they want, but they're in my playlist, right? It's a good hack, though. That works for adults, too, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we want to do there. Now, this is something, I have a new rule called the 30% rule. Remember my 50% rule?
Yeah.
We want to see how far we can get them before half the viewers are gone. Well, I already know that longer form content is meant for different types of people. So it's not going to be the 50% of the people that's there. So I want to know where 30% drop off. So we'd have 70% of the people drop off. We'd be at 30%. I want to know what that number is. Right here on this video, it's a 58-minute video. 30 minutes into it, we had 70% of the people leave, but we're at about 30%. Now, you might say, well, that video might not be good. I'll take this every day. You want to know why? Because this mark right here is literally over 10 minutes, and that right there is a key. Is like how long can we keep the 50%? How long can we keep the 30%? And I'll take this every day. Now, what do you think these little spikes are? Could be a timestamp. Rewind. So this is actually a compilation video, and this is the beginning of each new video. So they're fast forwarding. If they don't like it, they just fast forward. I don't care if they fast forward, as long as they're still watching my video, right? And they're just trying to find it, so it's a compilation of all the videos. This is a very powerful method for longer form, and there's several strategies you can do behind that, okay? All right, okay, so this is true engagement. This is actually one of my videos. All these are my videos, but this one's actually on my Derral Eves channel. Look at this hockey stick effect right here. What happened right here?
They skipped for
This is where I actually start giving the tip right there.
Oh, wow.
Little long-winded.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is in Google, the Studio Beta, you can actually click on these videos, you can play it, and there will be a player right here, and you can see everything that's going on. Can I give you my rule of thumb on that? I believe that everyone overanalyzes their channel if they're looking at it every day or every week. What you need to do is take a step back and give YouTube enough time to get data. And so here's my rule of thumb. My rule of thumb is twice a month that you're deep diving into the analytics. And then, a couple times a week, you're just looking at real-time analytics, what's happening in real time. But the overall picture, I would only do twice a month. Why would I only do it twice a month?
That big picture.
You got to have a big picture. I'm going to give you two scenarios that I look at. So the first thing I want to do is if I released a video, It takes about 48 hours to get data in, but realistically it's 72 hours before you have actual data, because that first little bit doesn't really give you much. But so you'd have almost a full week's of data. They'll actually put in all the data that's there. It's give you a full week of seeing where it's at. Now, YouTube does a really cool thing now. I don't know if you've seen it, but when you release the video, it's telling you how your video's trending now compared to your other videos. Really, really cool. You can thank Pat for that one. I was grateful that he put that in there. Just he made that recommendation. But it can tell you how your video is doing and performing based off of the last 10 uploads. Keep in mind though, I want you to keep in mind, anytime that YouTube gives you data and it tells you words like 10 uploads, what does that should tell you? You pay attention to how many uploads that YouTube really cares about, because they're not really caring about what's after that. I mean, they will in the sense of suggestion, but when it comes back down to where your channel's at, right then and there, they care about the last 10 uploads.
Oh, I got you right.
Got it? Okay, so this true engagement is key. We talked about right here already on that. Now let's talk about the Goldilocks zones. I truly, YouTube will always say this, more is better when dealing with watch time. But I have found that if you can get a very high percentage, above 60%, that you will succeed just on your content. Now, if it's only off of 20 views, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. It has to have a significant amount of views, so what do you, a couple thousand views on it. But if you can stay this consistently on your content, this is another thing right here, is 7 to 8 minutes is so key. If you can get them to watch 8 minutes of your video, then I'm here to tell you that that's your Goldilocks zone. If you can get them to watch 8 minutes, that's your average view duration, your video is going to skyrocket. Okay, so for a 30-minute video though, for an hour video, would it be 8 minutes, but it's 7 minutes? You know, you've got to look at what the bigger picture is. It might be closer to 12. It might be 12, but you'll figure out the different levels of the average view duration that you want. But I can confidently say that the bulk of the big YouTubers that I work with, at the end of the day, they're only getting 8 to 9 minute average view durations on it.
How long are their videos?
Yeah.
How long are the videos?
How long are their videos?
Between 10 to 15.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So if you say you have a 7 to 8 minute video and you're seeing like you're still on a very high retention, should you start looking to have them make the video longer to try to get to the 63% at the 7 to 8 minutes?
I like to not mess with content unless you have a good justification to mess with content.
Well, I'm not saying pad it, but if there's something you could do to legitimately extend it, and I don't know, like let's say you do something in segments, maybe you can add a new segment in your content moving forward.
I would definitely test things, but I don't want to test it across everything. Just experiment. Say, okay, the next 2 months, if you're doing weekly content, maybe every third video, I'm going to try this and see what you can get out of it. Would be fine. However, this video right here is only 3 minutes, and the Goldilocks zone is 63%. Is it 63% or 7-8 minutes? YouTube wants just minutes watched, and I can tell you for a fact that if I can hit certain benchmarks that it triggers YouTube to suggest my content out there, then it doesn't matter because it will just kind of add up. That watch time will add up. However, it'll add up a lot quicker if it's a 7 to 8 minute average view duration, if that makes sense. So look at your content. I would get some people that you can, I would test things out and say, hey, what do you think about this? Is this engaging? Maybe get a couple of your subscribers to do it. I don't know if you have a members area or the sponsors area, but maybe show them a video or two, see what they think. And see what would engage from there. But I'm always like, is it valuable enough for them to watch it? If it's not, then don't do it. Okay, over here. And then you're next.
So 10-minute mark is where you can place your commercials, right?
Yeah, you could add a mid-roll and several ads.
I don't know if you were going to touch bases on how, YouTube makes money on commercials.
Yeah.
So,
you make money on commercials too.
yeah. Not as much as you do, but.
Well, I don't know.
But I guess my question is, does that matter with YouTube on putting commercials on your video?
No. The algorithm is independent of them making money or not. It's all about the video itself. It's not about, oh, this video is going to make us more money. But if the video is good and you have monetization, does it give YouTube more amp to do it? The algorithm, as far as I can see, it has no difference.
Unless you got 12 commercials and they just stop watching your videos, and that hinders it.
We've had channels that we've got over 1 million subscribers in like 4 months, from 0 to 1 million subscribers, and it had nothing to do. We had no ads placed on it.
Wow.
Placed ads on it, didn't grow any faster, didn't stop growing. Just kind of, that's when we got monetized actually.
I used to hate watching commercials, so I wouldn't even watch
Yeah.
these videos.
YouTube Premium's really, really cool. I would recommend that if you hate watching it. I've been doing it for quite some time, and I do it for a reason. Number one, if you want to give a content creator the most money that they can possibly make on an ad, it's when you have a premium view versus an ad, because they make money regardless if you see an ad or not, because it's a subscription model. So.
Okay, it does.
Oh, I'm sorry. She had it next.
No problem.
This is like a new feature. Have you noticed when you're scrolling on your home feed, it'll start playing a video without the. Okay, well, I thought that I could get away with watching videos without clicking on them. One, because I wouldn't have to watch ads, and two, because like it wouldn't start suggesting those videos to me if I didn't want to see a bunch of them. But obviously I'm wrong, because Google's smart and it started suggesting those videos to me. So I was just wondering, there's a little work around the ads, but I was wondering if someone does start watching your video that way and then stops, like, is that affecting your...
Absolutely.
Your
So
analytics?
YouTube is tracking everything that you do. I can tell you this for a fact, that everything that you do on your channel, whether you watch a video, you like, you comment, how long you watch, is being tracked. There's a log. That's how the AI knows how to predict things for you. So for you even seeing an autoplay video, it's tracking that you're watching that autoplay video.
Okay, and it's tracking other people watching my videos that autoplay for them?
That's exactly right.
Alright, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and the more, all they're trying to do is gauge if you're interested in certain content. And if you stop your swipe and you're like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and you only watch 10 seconds of it, they're still tracking that because you might be interested in similar content. Maybe not that one,
Right.
but something similar because you didn't click
So
it.
that's another good reason to like have the beginning be super...
Absolutely engaging. Yep.
Is there-
Okay, now you can.
My question is, if the viewer goes to YouTube Premium, they're not seeing any kinds of ads. So how
Right.
the creator earns money then?
As a creator, what?
Yeah. If the viewer goes to YouTube Premium app, they're not seeing any ads. So how the creator earns the money? YouTube is earning the money from that.
Yeah, no, YouTube shares in the same money. So they do a cut. You actually make more money if you have a premium view versus an ad.
Well, how do you know if you get a premium
It
view?
says what type of view in your analytics. It'll
I just
say.
wanted to show you something real quick. This is like a 5-hour video I got. And I got a whole bunch of ads in there. Just wanted to find out your recommendation on that.
Those are all your ads?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah, that's a lot of ads. YouTube triggers ads based on tolerance, but I found it's around about 6-7 minutes.
It's basically a cell phone fix video. So it plays a red, yellow, blue for like 5 hours, but I got ads in there. And it's actually made me a couple $100.
Yeah, I would probably, you got to see where they're triggering because it's probably not the end ads.
Okay.
I would do it maybe every 10 minutes or something like that. It's just like, you got to figure out that model,
Okay.
for sure. Okay, any questions on this? We ready to move on? Okay, so another Goldilocks zone, like I said, is that 30% mark. I want to get it as close as I can, if it's an hour video or more, to that half an hour mark. Just because that gives me the ability to, where this gets promoted off the charts. There's a YouTuber that we talked about earlier, Mr. Beast. He doesn't, every once in a while he'll do a really, really crazy video where he sits down for 11 hours or something and says PewDiePie for I don't know how many times or anything like that. He does something like that. Do you want to understand what his average view duration on that video is generally?
Yep.
Really low, right?
Low?
They watch it?
When people come on, they're watching at least an hour of it.
Really?
And I'm like, why?
I don't get that.
But that's the whole thing is the magic of when he actually does. he's very good at stopping and adding content to it so people don't want to miss out. And so even if it's an 11 hour, they usually 3 times it or 4 times it and wait for that moment, then they pause it and then switch it and stuff. It's crazy. Crazy. But it's about engaging with content, and the type of viewers that he's going after is not probably the viewer you're going after, but what you need to look at is what are your viewers going to want to watch and what are they going to tolerate. Now, I can tell you, doing longer form videos is tough. And the reason why is because what is your tolerance in watching videos? Will you sit down and watch 30 minutes of a video? I know when I release an hour video giving some really, really good training, people, it might take them 4 or 5 days to watch it because they only have 5 minutes or 10 minutes and they're just watching a little bit here and there.
I'll do it on my walks. That's where I watch the long content like that because I walk a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, cool question about that. My videos.
About walking or what?
Well,
You're talking to the wrong guy.
I get it, right? But my videos are normally around 5 minutes. Is that because that's kind of the shtick? Because I do it for people my age that have a short attention span.
Yeah.
And I usually do 5 minutes. I get good retention.
You have 2 videos that are taking off right now. What's your average view ratio? It's like 63%.
Yeah, some of them are even higher than that.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get that translated, of course, into subscribers as well. I'm still new.
What I do is replicate what works. So you go back through. When I said to analyze it twice, when you do a deep dive, you're literally playing the video and watching it go on the graph and seeing if you can find patterns. And you're saying, oh, I said this word. They're trigger words that people leave. I'm here to tell you. One of the words that I used to use, well, that's it. Well, of course, I still had 20, 30 seconds. So Jeremy's channel, I can tell that he's the fixer. Just because he says, hello, I'm a fixer, right there. And the thing that I like to look at is there a channel strategy? And if I can't identify it very quickly, then that's usually something that I would actually give you feedback. So right now, the type of channel strategy is, what type of channel is he? Yes, he's a fixer, but a fixer of what? And that's a very, very important thing, is as you hyper-focus in on your content, that's when YouTube's going to recommend it more, because what happens if someone wants to know how to fix, let's say, up a house or something, and you get to electronics thing and it has nothing, like it's a remote control or whatever, is that going to be disconnected content for the viewer? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So normally what I do is I'll click on a couple things. First thing is I want to sort to see which one, if he has any bangers that has happened. And you can see that he has a 20,000 viewed video.
Wow.
And it has to do with a vehicle. And it has to do with people probably that are concerned about having the same issue.
I have a lot of search. You said that recommended is a lot, but a lot of mine are search.
And that's great to start, but what it's going to be, it's going to always be the same unless you can figure out predictability of what people will want to watch over and over again and roll from there. But it's like you're kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, but I'm looking at the type of content that you're doing, and I'm wondering, for me, what type of strategy, if I were doing your content, what that would be. And it looks like to me right now, just off of it, it's like electronics is like a big bulk of the first, your most viewed.
So my original strategy was figuring out how to monetize without having ads. So most of these videos have affiliate links on them.
Okay.
And so that was the strategy, is show how to fix something and then link to the parts to fix it.
Okay.
So that's how most of these videos are set up.
I love that strategy so much. I'm going to show you someone that is killing it. So Zach right here is a good friend of mine, and that's exactly what he does, but he takes it up a notch, okay? Let me just go to one of his, so it depends on if it's a brand deal or whatever. And anyway, he breaks down his affiliate stuff, but this metal phone opening tool and the Pry Toolkit and Larger Toolkit right here. These are all his products.
Nice.
Oh wow.
So he's selling his own stuff.
He's selling his own products.
Wow, and he's making an affiliate off of it.
And that's called double dipping,
Yeah.
but it's okay double dip.
Yeah, are you allowed to do that? Put affiliate links to your own
Yeah,
product?
you can.
I was wondering.
Nice.
And he'll just put his own, like what type of stuff that he's doing.
It's weird because what I've seen is people buying certain things, and a lot
See,
of
look at
those
this.
are just coming from China. that
Brother
you can do
Jerry
that.
Rig right here. See this Jerry Rig everything? But yeah, it's bona fide hardware is where it's at. So I can tell you right now, I don't know if he'd want me to say this, but he's comfortably making more money on Amazon selling his own products than he is doing YouTube videos. But the YouTube videos, the traffic source is people wanting to do it to get the toolkit.
Advertising.
Okay, so for me, that's what I look at. So if that's your strategy, if that's what you like, then it's like, okay, how can we make it a little bit better? So, so that in that sense, I want to dig into the videos itself, because right now, like, none of it really matters to me, because you have 15 views here, 20 views here, but the ones that actually have traction, I want to know what's going on with them, and I want to know what's happening to your channel now, just so I know what type of content. Now, I might make recommendations for things that you don't want to do,
Right.
and that's where you have to find the balance between it, and you got to figure out the story behind it itself. So coming into analytics, I want to see right now where your traffic's coming from. So this right here is like my #1 tool of all time. A couple years ago is the real-time analytics, because we can see exactly what's happening right now, and you can still see that the most viewed videos are still getting you views right now. And from my perspective, without even looking at it deeply, you're not capitalizing on that. And so you got to figure out, okay, how do you take it up a notch, right? #2, this report right here. I'm going to have some major training, and it will be a paid course. I do apologize, but it's really, really in depth. This is by far the most powerful tool I've ever used at YouTube, ever. And like, people don't know what you can do with this thing. But I've been doing YouTube for a very long time, and I've been doing a lot of YouTube ads, and this literally it brings the ad world into YouTube, that you can do so much, and so I'm very familiar with this reporting style. We'll get into that in a second. But let's go ahead and let's just click on, in the last 48 hours, let's go ahead and click on this video, because this is your most viewed video in the last 48 hours. You can see, where your subscribers are coming from, the watch time, the views. You can see your average view duration. It's 39%, but as I'm looking into it, it's still not bad, because where is the 50%? Right there, about 2 minutes into it. It's not bad. What YouTube looks for, and this is what I want you all to know, is you're not comparing your video against somebody else's video specifically, but what they do is they group videos together that are similar videos, and you have a absolute average view duration, and you have a relative average view duration. The relative is against other people's content that's in similar length and similar topic. Does that make sense? And so this could be decent based on that size. I don't know, but I can tell you this: if you had that 50% be right here at the very end, which you still have 42%. I can guarantee you that you would actually get more views on that. It'd be suggested out more. Is this making sense? I like to look at this of what's going on right here. So we can see, let's hear Jeremy a little bit. You won't be able to hear him, but I will.
Thanks to DBrand for sponsoring this video. Link in the description.
Oh,
3 cameras that are in the
I'm
back.
like, man, you sound just like Zach.
That's good.
Jerry Rig, here we go.
LED light. So this is one of those lights that are retrofit. You can just cut out a hole in the ceiling, wire it up, and attach it. I'll show you here in a minute where we're going to put it. It's actually going to be in a shower area, and so we got one of the moisture capable lights.
Okay, so for me, that was a little intro where you're starting to lose people. If you would have actually showed B-roll of you installing the light, and you're talking about it, hey, this is what we're going to do, you probably would have kept them on a little bit longer.
Would it make sense to trim that front part of
Don't
the video?
trim it. it's your highest performing video. What we want to do is learn from it and then replicate something. Now you know this. That, hey, maybe it's like do that, but bring in other elements that makes it a little bit more interesting, where you're showing what you're going to be doing. Does that make sense, everyone?
Darryl, where are you at in your analytics on that?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
When you come in, you hit analytics right here.
On there.
And then I selected a video. So
Okay.
this is the video that I selected right
Correct.
here.
Right.
And then I just come right here to audience retention.
Okay,
What about
gotcha.
classic mode?
Don't worry about. I would never worry about. Like, stay away from classic mode.
And then click the see more.
Just in a few weeks, they're going to be moving over to this.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And I can tell you, this is far better than classic mode. There's a few elements that are not showing up yet, but you know.
I don't even think you can go back to classic mode, can you?
You can.
Oh,
You can.
That notifications.
Tighten it down pretty good.
You know
And then
what's
pull
funny?
on the wire to make sure it doesn't come out. And I'll do the same thing with the neutral wire. All right.
So I mean, not a bad thing, and I think right here, this is another indicator. So this, you're having the same issue that I was having, is that at
I
7.
always did an outro at the beginning. This is like my second video.
But it's something that you can learn from, because you're still getting views on it, right?
And this,
Your new videos are not getting views, but
it's
this one's
funny,
still
this
getting
video
views.
has so many negative comments because it was like my number 2 video, and I filmed it terribly. I cut off, like, you couldn't see half of what I was doing, but people watch it. So then I did a part 2 and directed to that.
Yeah.
It gets pretty good views.
But you look at this right here, you're at 7 minutes 51 seconds, and your video doesn't end till 8 minutes. So it's like, do shorter ones. That would have probably brought that up to 48%, 50%.
I was gonna say, it doesn't drop off till the end.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. The next thing I look at right here is reach viewers, and I come down to the video performance funnel. Look at that click-through rate. So that click-through rate is only going off of YouTube recommending, so it's not off of search. It's only discovery, and it's this number right here. But as a whole, you can see, yeah, search is bringing you traffic, but it's still being suggested. And the suggestion, I like to see where the suggestion's coming from. And that comes back to our lovely report of this, and it shows us exactly which video. So this, how to install ultra thin, low profile recessed LED lighting, which is probably part 2.
No, that's not mine.
So somebody else's video.
Somebody else's video?
suggesting
This is good to know.
His content.
Our fast internet. So this video is bringing you your suggestions right here.
Which looks like it may be a manufacturer.
They're not getting their answers and they're gonna.
Yeah, well, it's like they're coming here and they're probably trying to figure out how to. They're probably watching this one and okay, I got it, but I'm not getting what I need on this. So let me go ahead and find someone that's actually installing it. We'd have to watch this video, but basically,
Yeah, looks like he's doing the same thing.
yeah, they're doing the same thing. But yeah, but maybe they just lose interest because this intro for.
Or
They
maybe
lost
they-
interest because of 30 seconds of advertisement. Look.
Aspect LED.
I just jumped
Professional
off.
grade LED lighting.
Yeah.
I've already jumped off that video.
Yeah, wow.
Like 10 times.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that's kind of one of the things I look at is right there. So, and I would go through like all your top performing videos. You have about 7 that are still bringing you traffic, and I try to figure out why are people staying on this? Where are they coming from? What other videos are being suggested? Make sure you write down the channels that they're actually coming from. That's a very, very big deal, okay? Because what we want to do is like saying, hey, YouTube says that these videos from this channel are recommending my content. What do we have in common? Maybe there's some viewer crossover. But I can tell you right now, just without even going into the depth of this, and I've done this so much, I don't even need to like really deep dive. I would look at being more the gadget guy, like in the sense of quick repairs, but I would definitely do it with either home repair or electronics. If I was to choose to, I don't know your skill set, but I would do electronics because it's a bigger,
Market.
bigger subset of followers.
Yeah.
So.
But not as much my skill set. So
No.
Yeah. So it's just like you gotta balance it out, what you want to do on that. But you can tell that you had a video that performed here, and it's the how to install, how to fix a specific type of product. What I would do is like, can you do a project that they'll want to watch to the finish just because they want to watch it? Let me show you a channel.
Pull up one of my videos which has a real strange audience retention graph.
Yeah,
it like
show me which
drops
one.
down and then pops back up. The microwave shelf video. If you go to that one. Go to the analytics and
It's that new YouTube
which is not a ton of views.
Just right here.
But it pops up at the very end of it, and I can't. Is it just somebody clicking to the end to see what the finished product?
Could be. Let's see.
So that was probably step that back out just a hair the next time, but plenty of attachment to hold this shelf up. All right, I can go ahead and thread on the rods.
Went back to the funky rock out, yeah.
They are attached.
The music seems to help.
So now you can see I have some marks on the board for where I need to drill out for these pipes to sit through.
That's kind of a tough call. I don't know on that one. Do you have any other videos that's kind of like that? Okay. It could be they want to see the end, or they're just like, okay, let's see where it gets interesting. I don't know. I don't know. But the key is like what we want to do is look for behaviors
Trends.
of our viewers and see if we can figure out the trends so that we know how to position our content, make our content. But at the end of the day, let me just kind of go back overall. When you're reaching viewers, for the amount of click-through rate, your suggestions starting to come up. This is in the last 28 days. What I always look at, and I just want everyone to know, is I do a 90-day window, because that's the true trend of advertising on YouTube, but it's the true trend of what happens on YouTube. You can see that you said that, oh, most of my traffic comes from search, and I'm like, yeah, it does. It's 45.1%. But at 45.4% is coming from YouTube recommending your content, which is suggested videos and also browse feature. You see right here? And so at the end of the day, it would be, can you improve your content and get stuff that will actually bring in? Because like right now, it seems like you're struggling a little bit trying to get videos to be discovered, right? So going back to the things that are working already, and can you think of 2 or 3 videos that would be related to that would be a natural transition? And so I would almost use the same title strategy. I would probably improve your thumbnails a little bit, just so that it's just more clickable. But I would try to create some content that way and see if you can get some traction there. Now you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to be pigeonholed in that type of content. Well, no, that's just your first stage. The next thing would be, okay, what's a video that they would actually naturally want to watch based off of that piece of content? Wait a minute, I've seen your channel before.
Have you?
Yeah. Hey, Kelton. That's my boy. Have you seen this channel? Right. Let me find you a video here. See the latest. Because you got to get some ball handles.
What are the thumbnails?
I'm going to show you the top 3 jab step basketball moves that you can use to get past defenders, create space, and score a lot more points. And the best part about these moves is you can do them with simple, basic moves if you're more beginner, doing it from triple threat or just regular dribbles. And if you're a little more advanced, you can take these exact same jab step moves and put them into the mix with a little bit more advanced type dribble moves. Big key tip for all these jab step moves, you want to make sure you're about arm's distance from your defender if you really want them to work. If you're not arm's distance from your defender, they're going to really lose their effect because you're not as much of a threat to actually beat your defender. And that's the main point with all these jab steps. So the very first jab step move we're going to do is going to be an out jab. But what we do with it and how we do it, make sure we got all the options down with it, is going to be key. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to give you a way to make all these moves absolutely unstoppable by giving you unlimited options to beat your defender. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So with the out jab, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. If I've got the basketball in my left hand, and I jab step with my right foot, and out jab would be when you step out with that foot. So right foot steps out to the right side and kind of.
Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here.
You have to go subscribe. You don't have to be athletic.
Make sure you watch the whole video.
Yeah, I gotta watch the whole video
You
here.
gotta watch the exercise videos first, so I can build up the stamina to do that.
Come on. Come on, internet.
You guys are influencers in your Rise of Fitness channel.
I'll see a message of what happened. I try to do jabs.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things. So James Harden, step back. I think that's the video I watched.
That one went viral.
I swear I've seen that one.
Yeah, at
Where you're saying that
Facebook too.
And that was the one that where you're saying that he doesn't travel.
Yeah,
and I think he does.
The NBA changed the rules. They changed the rules.
Oh,
I don't like it either.
Okay, nobody likes James. Does anybody like James Harden?
He's a good dude.
He's good. He plays hard. All right, so let's take a look at this one here.
From there, he'll pop back with two hands on the basketball and then take another step. So you might say, well, that's boom, 2, 3 steps. That's where the gather step or the 0 step comes into play. Now, before I get too in depth with the gather step and the 0 step, I want to make sure we're clear on a couple things. Sometimes James Harden does travel on his step back because he picks up the ball at the wrong time or his hand comes under the basketball. But it's hard for refs to catch everything quick. The second thing is, for younger players, a lot of this kind of stuff, if it looks weird to a ref, they're still probably going to call you for a travel. It really just depends on your league and how your refs call things, so you'll want to keep that in mind, and you'll adjust your game accordingly to how refs are calling.
All right, so a couple things that I noticed
Up the basketball into his 2 steps.
is the music itself. Have you changed it up at all, or is it like where are you at on that?
Yeah, I have a bunch of different songs I use. Sometimes I'll change a song from section to section to try to keep things interesting. But certain ones that I use over and over.
Yes. I was looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
You live in St. Cloud?
Wisconsin.
Oh.
Small town, real small town.
I saw it. I was like,
right next to where I live.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, down the road.
I know.
Yeah,
Chris
that's your
Gold
dad's
1123 wants to know, what are the best drills to teach young kids to become better at dribbling and to protect the ball? Coach Jesse Mitchell with Get Handles, and in today's edition of On-Court Answers, I'm going to show you the best drills to help kids get better ball handling and protect the basketball. When I watch a lot of kids handle the basketball, there's a lot of things that stand out to me that almost...
Okay, so I'm going to give you a tip right here, and I've only watched 2 videos, but I want to see you doing it. Whatever you're talking about, I want to see it as B-roll.
Right. Okay.
You can talk about it, but I got to see it.
Okay.
Like for me,
Chris Gold 112.
yeah, my tolerance level's there, but like I want to see you. Do you know what you're talking about? Like I don't want to wait to see if you're actually a good ball handler.
Right. Okay.
You know, I got to see the magic,
Okay.
right? And right now,
All we're going to do is we're going to have the kid
I mean, it
dribble.
took
You want to touch this
1 minute before he started to bounce the ball.
Right.
And so, like, there's 2 videos I was watching very particular for that.
Okay.
But it's your 2 most popular videos too.
Right.
And
yeah,
so,
some of my videos I noticed it seems like if I like drag the intro on, it seems like some of those videos do better. But there is ones where I dribble earlier that have like crush.
yeah. But let's take a look at this one real quick. This is really interesting. Get some
Oh,
spikes.
there's a lot of spikes.
Anywhere that can help you get your layups down so you stop missing them in games, or just if you want to improve them, expand them, whatever the case may be, I got you covered in this video. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to give you some advanced finishes you can work on both with a hoop or at home, and I'm going to give you 5 layups that you must master. Coach Jesse Mitch with Get Handles.
Are they trying to just skip through a little bit to try to get to the point, maybe?
I'm sorry?
Are the spikes maybe where they're just kind of skipping through?
Yeah.
Saying, okay,
Wait
just,
till-
I'm ready to
Here-
see
here
it?
actually
That's
doing
what it is.
something.
Yeah.
You done talking?
No. They tap on their phone.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
double
10
tap.
second.
Yeah.
You can watch
Tap
for
just-
10 seconds.
Gotcha, yeah.
They're just tapping.
Yeah.
Tap to skip.
See, I can just tap and it goes right to the next one.
Ah,
See that?
look at there. Wow. Yep. Look at there.
The field
Learn something new every day.
control over the basketball. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to making your layup, one of the most
Once again, I can't overemphasize that. I think your content would way perform. Because even when you're teeing it up, you're talking about it, you should be able to visualize. Oh, that's what I'm going to learn.
Right.
Mm.
And then you go through the steps.
Okay.
You know, like I do like your intro. I think it's solid, and I do like how you are still talking and you see your branding without it being disconnected. But I think where I'm disconnected is like seriously at the end of the day, where is the? I mean, I don't even see a layup. I mean, you're showing the tip of how you position your hands. and
Well, this
stuff.
one's for layups without a hoop, so
Okay.
it's things they can do at home.
I get what you're saying. It's because there's a channel I follow, Daily Dirt Exotics, whatever, and they say in this episode, and they show basically just clips from like the whole thing before, and then they start the normal like vlog, with, like the cinematics and stuff. That's what he's talking about. We're having like the B-roll of what's in the video at the beginning.
So, but even with that, I would probably even the hook just to show them, okay, you do a layup. Now I'm going to show you how to improve your layups, but without this.
Right.
Hoop's gone, and then you can show them
Right.
how to
I
go
like that
there.
idea.
You know, just different little things like that.
Yeah.
My big thing though is really digging into what's actually working. Oops, didn't want to hit that. And I want to replicate as much as I possibly can, you know. But I'm concerned with the 90-day view. So you had a couple videos go there. The Spider-Man, I think that's the one I saw too. How did I'm wondering how I saw your stuff. I
I
don't know why.
piggybacked that one didn't perform as good. I had a 10 Spider-Man basketball moves that I did. That one did better. So
Maybe
I made
that's
another
what
one.
it was. It was the ball handling with Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, 10 Spider-Man basketball moves tutorial.